Hello and welcome to the tour report from Secret Golf. I don't even need to change the background because we could be in the same place. It's from one exotic destination to the next on the PGA Tour, going from Bermuda to Mayakoba for the Worldwide Technology Championship at Mayakoba. Elk, we love talking about this course. Two of our Secret Golf contributors have won here before, Pat Perez and Patton Kazire, and it's always a great week.
Yes, just a short trip down to Mexico, Diane. This course, this Greg Norman designed Mayakoba golf course is very popular with the tour players. It's has this paspalum grass, which is, can be watered with salt water. It's a real unique little environmental little place. It's got all these little canals that cut in off the ocean and go through the golf course. So it's kind of important to keep your tee ball in play. We know it gets windy, as you can see the ocean there right behind you. All the guys that have won in this tournament, they are either Viktor Hovland, he's won here two years in a row. Got to keep the ball in between those ditches, so to speak. Got to putt well. As we said, gets very windy. And we've got a pretty good field this week, Diane. We've lost a few of the local Mexican boys to Live Golf. The two superstar players, of course, Carlos Ortiz is not with us anymore, and Abraham Ancer. Those two are hugely popular down here.
And both did well in this tournament last year. I want to address something quickly because I saw this, the tour junkies, who are guys that kind of work in the golf world that we're friendly with, they were at the Live Miami event for the team championship at the weekend, and they put online yesterday that they heard rumours that this was going to be the last year that the PGA Tour was going to hold an event at Mayakoba because Mayakoba was going to host a live event in 2023, which makes sense bearing in mind this is a Greg Norman designed course.
Well, of course, strong Mexican contingent team in the Live Golf Series. I hadn't heard that, of course, but it's certainly possible. We know that Live finished their season for yesterday. 4 aces, Pat Perez's team with Dustin Johnson. They won $16 million. I watched the end of it. Pat Perez played excellent golf. He's been getting a lot of stick from everybody that he hasn't contributed. Well, he did it yesterday. He shot 2 under on his last 5 holes, and they won by 1 stroke. So very tight finish yesterday. Dustin Johnson and Cam Smith, of course, shot 65 yesterday at the Blue Monster, 7 under. Looked like someone that was in absolutely tremendous form. It was an interesting day, to say the least, Diane.
Yeah.
A lot of money. However, no, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Live Golf is here. I think we've got to learn to live with it a little bit and blend these events together somehow to where, what is those products going to look like? That is the Tour, DP Tour, and Live Golf look like next season.
And you have to really think about the future of the Shark Shootout, the QBE Shootout that's held at Tiburon down in Naples, another Greg Norman course. We all call it the Shark Shootout because it's his event. He wasn't allowed to attend it last year. You have to think, like, how long is that event going to be able to go ahead looking like it does right now?
Yeah, I think, it's definitely not getting friendlier between the two organizations. I did read last week that the Open Championship in the Roland Ancient said they won't be suspending anyone from their events. So Live Golf players, if they are exempt into the Open, they'll be allowed to play. That'll probably be a precedent, Diane, being the oldest championship. Now the other majors may follow along. The Masters may say, hey, well, if you're in it, you can play, or US Open, same. So I think we're sort of heading in the direction of a sit down. It feels like we are. I don't know that at all. Have no information about that. But one thing for sure is I think the Live players are pretty happy. It looks like they're going to extend their 48-man roster to 60. So we could have some more defections. It still could be very volatile, Diane, in the next few months.
And all pointing towards world ranking points as well. But great for Cam Smith. He'll be able to go back and defend at the Open. It's very weird right now when all the TV commercials are on for the Players' Championship and we're watching Rory win from 2 years ago, or from 3 years ago, Justin Thomas win from 2 years ago, and the Cam Smith victory has just been wiped clean like it never existed. So it's kind of strange. But yeah, as you say, it's not getting friendlier, and Liv's only getting bigger, and I think they had a really successful weekend with the team championship. talking about Bermuda, we almost had a very successful weekend because my pick, Thomas Dietrich, finished second. I thought he was going to do it. It was a bit of a battle in the end between Seamus Power and Ben Griffin, and poor Griffin fell apart coming down the stretch on the back nine. But Dietrich was right there, and I knew it.
Yes, Diane, you're never very far off with your picks. Seamus Power, of course, won the tournament. Played tremendous golf, 65, 65, 65 and 70 on Sunday, 1 under on Sunday to hold off that group of players. Yeah, I mean, this time of year, it's hard to, these players are out jockeying, basically trying to, get their points. I mean, even me, I still think of the start of the season as being the Hawaiian Open in January. And these events have got to be tough mentally for these players they've got to get out and play. They've got to get motivated. They've got to travel quite a bit to Bermuda. Now, that doesn't sound much from someone like you that grew up in Scotland, but traveling to Bermuda, now down to Mexico, 2 more after this, the Houston Open and the Sea Islands tournament. And then they do take a break, but all about jockeying and getting positioned for the FedEx Cup. I mean, it just keeps going, Diane, never stops.
And for a lot of these guys, it's really getting a foot up. I mean, you look at Seamus Power now in an amazing position in the FedEx Cup standings, and and it's always interesting once we start in Hawaii to have a look at that FedEx Cup table and see how it changes with the months that unfold ahead. So anyway, this is another one of those great weeks. But as you say, we have some big names in the field this week. Viktor Hovland is back going for the three-peat after winning here in 2020 and in 2021. Scotty Scheffler's had success around here before. He's playing Colin Morikawa, Tony Finau, Billy Horschel. So this is one of those stops on tour that guys... I want to say it's kind of a horses for courses place in that you see a lot of the same names performing well at this course year after year.
Yeah, I think of this course as I feel like this, because I played in this tournament when it first started. I feel like if you play well here, you'll play well in Hawaii. It's very similar conditions. Of course, it looks the same, but the grass is a little coarser here. This course here, depending on the weather, you've got to hit it. You've got to hit it straight off the tee here, and you got to putt pretty well. Those are the two key ingredients on this course.
And then, for someone like Viktor Hovland, we said that he's won here twice before. He's also won in Puerto Rico. He won in the Bahamas, the Hero World Challenge. So for Hovland, he just seems to thrive under these tropical conditions, which is strange for a Norwegian.
So happy. He's like a Scottish person. They're so happy to get into the sunshine. Their elevated attitude is so key. I spoke a minute ago, Diane, about these fall events, and the word on the tour is if you actually can play well in the fall and either win or get a ton of points, it really helps you later on. I mean, of course it does, but it's just this short window of fall events with Live Golf and now the tour with all these events. It's a bit of a lot of good players don't play this time of year. You're talking about Spieth and Thomas and Rahm and all the star players, Rory, all these guys, they all take off. And it's one thing for them to say, hey, we support the tour, we do all this stuff. But you don't see any of these guys at all until back in, January when they come back, or they may play Tiger's event in the Bahamas. So it's easy for them to say, we're all for the tour, but some of these smaller events, they need them, and that's a big, I don't want to say problem the tour has, because there's plenty of golfers and there's plenty of great golfers, but as you know, Diane, better than anyone, the top players all play a very similar schedule of about 20 weeks.
And that's why they're hoping to change that next year with these elevated events, and then no fall season next year. But wow, we'll dive into all of that then. So let's talk about the course this week. El Camaleón Golf Course. It's just terrible.
El Camaleón.
Camaleón.
Yeah.
I'm sure I get wrong every single time I say it. But it's not overly long, the course. I mean, we're talking 7,034 yards, par 71, a resort-style course. The average winning score has been 20 under since 2013. What kind of characteristics are we going to see out there?
Well, I knew the name. That was the name. I'm going to try to say it now that you said it. La Camaleón. Does that mean that it changes colors? Because when I first played this golf course, Diane, the course looked simple. It was so easy. It was a beautiful day down in Mexico, no wind. And then the next day I came out and it was blowing about 45 miles an hour off the sideways. And I hit my ball down the hole that I thought was no problem. And it bounced over and went into the water. And I went over there, and on lots of these holes, there's these little canals. If you can imagine, this piece of land right here in that ocean comes in, it has a tidal river that runs through this property, and it wraps around in all different areas. And as this wind gets across this golf course, you've got to be able to keep it between all that. Now, the course, the grass is very coarse past Palem. Keep it in the fairway, no problem. But we know that the guys that play this tournament well, we see Hovland's won it twice, our own Pat Perez, super putter, plays well in the wind, Patton Kazire, another one. You drive it halfway decent here, Diane, but you've got to be able to sink putts. I mean, that's when you get on windy courses that are flat greens, the separator is always wind. We talked about it at the Open Championship at St Andrews this year. I had Cam Smith because he putts so well on flat greens, and he proved it to us on that back nine that day. And of course, he's still doing it. But it's very similar here. The separator club this week is the putter.
Mm-hmm. Looking at Hovland's stats and the way he won it the last 2 years, he did it in completely different ways. Last year, he hit fairways, 73% of his fairways. He was 6th in scrambling. In 2020, he was only 17th in accuracy. I mean, still good, obviously. But he led the field in greens in regulation. Both years, he's been just outside the top 10 in putting. So that definitely makes what you said reign true. But, you know, when I look back at like Pat Perez, Patton Kazire, other people that have won and done well here, it really is keeping the ball in the tight fairways and hitting greens. But these are large resort-style greens, so it's really hitting the green in the correct place.
Yeah, hitting the green first, second, close enough to where you can have a shot at making a birdie. But, yeah, I mean, look, these players are pretty relaxed coming off Bermuda, coming into another family week. I call this the family week. This is a great place to take your family. Players are relaxed. They've got the shorts on. They're down on the beach. They're taking golf very seriously. But the winner of this event has always done it the similar ways, and that's putted really well. Now, as you said, I got a feeling that I think I know who your favorite is going to be this week, but I'm going to wait and let you tell me that. But
well, we'll dive into our picks. So we're each going to give outright favourites, ones to watch, and then dark horses that are over 100 to 1. Do you want me to go first, since you think you know who I'm picking?
I better go, because your pick it'll be a 10-minute talk about.
Maybe.
Now, I'm going to pick a player, someone that you would not normally be looking at very closely, but this player has played well on this golf course, finished 10th, 2nd, 15th in the last 3 years, had a top 10 the other week at Congaree. I'm talking about Aaron Wise, the young fella from Seattle, I think, is where he's from. Been playing some very good golf, tall, thin, long hitter. I'm picking guys that play well here and are in form currently. And I like Aaron Wise. There's a handful of guys that I'm looking at the top, but I like Aaron this week.
Me too. I was almost going to pick him. He's 16 to 1 this week. Great pick. As you say, he hasn't played a lot this season, so looking at his stats, there's not a huge amount to go off, but he came off that top 10 at the CJ Cup against a great field, so I like it. He was almost mine, but I'm going to be so predictable because I love a good story, and I think Viktor Hovland and the three-peat, he's probably I think he's 10 or 11 to 1, so he's definitely one of the favourites, if not the favourite this week. But he's going for 3 wins in a row. He loves playing out here. He's won on tropical courses all over the place, Puerto Rico, Bahamas, all the good vibes coming back here. And Viktor Hovland, he's always got that lovely smile on his face. So I don't think the pressure is going to be too much going for 3 in a row. But I love it. I can't leave him off this week. He's
so healthy looking, Viktor Hovland.
I know.
And he travels well. That's a saying that we say on tour, right? That, some guys play good when they're at home, but other guys, they can go anywhere and play well. Hovland travels well. He does well whenever he's got to go somewhere far. So this is not that far, but yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. Do
you remember during COVID, he drove everywhere, he had a car, and he just toured around the US and got to see all these cool places, and he loved it. So we talk about it all the time. He's just got a great attitude.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, attitude is key for the tour.
Okay, so you're going with Adam Wise. I'm going with Viktor Hovland. No real shockers when it comes to our outright favourites. I'll start with my one to watch. This guy is 30-1. And I am taking Tom Hoge. He's playing great. He's had a really good start to the season. He's played 4 times and he's finished in the top 13 every single time. Top 10 at the CJ Cup. He finished 4th at the Shriners in Vegas. But looking at his stats as well, approach shot, we know that's going to be vital this week. He's 3rd on the PGA Tour in approach, 6th greens and reg, 20th in putting, and he finished in a tie for 3rd here in 2020. So Tom Hoge at 30-1, he is my one to watch.
Yeah, Hoge hits the ball great, straight hitter. I'm picking a player that has a style, his game. I'm picking his style of his game. And of course, I'm talking about left-hander Brian Harman. Doesn't have everything on this course record-wise. However, he's playing great right now. Mm-hmm. Told me so on the phone recently. Said, "Look, Elk," he said, "I'm playing so good, putting good. Everything's lining up for me." So I want someone that keeps the ball in play, putts good, hits it good in the wind, knows how to play all these different shots. He's motivated this time of year. I mean, I'm all over Brian Harman. He's 45-1, which I was kind of surprised. I thought it'd be higher. He's ranked in he's re-ranked in our field. He's in the top 3, I think, this week. He's 3rd in our re-ranked field. Mm-hmm. So 45-1 to me is a great pick for Harman on one to watch.
Yeah, I like it. So you're taking Brian Harman. I have Tom Hoge. Those are good odds for both of them, actually. And then for the dark horse picks, guys that are over 100-1, I'll kick off with mine. My guy is 130-1, and I was quite surprised after how he played last week in Bermuda. He ended up finishing, I think 20th, round about there anyway, but he was at the top of the leaderboard for the first couple of days, even 2.5 days. Then, fell apart a little bit, but I'm going to go with Austin Smotherman. I was just really impressed by what I saw from him last week and watched most of his round on TV on Friday, and he was dialed in. Obviously Bermuda, low scoring event, and just a couple of bogeys really cost him over the weekend, but I was surprised that he was 130-1 this week after how he played last week. So I'm hoping that he's just going to take the game in the tropical conditions and move it exactly over to Mayakoba, pick up a few more birdies at the weekend, and I like Austin Smotherman at 130-1.
Austin Smotherman won't know this, but his name has made it into our foursome at Champions Club. The guys, when they hit a low hook into the trees, they call it an Austin Smotherman. So he's got a crossover name into the golf scene now, Diane, which he should be very proud of. So when someone really hits a low hook into the trees, they call it a Smotherman. However, my pick, I almost fell off my chair this morning when I saw this pick. Patton Kizzire, who won this tournament, plays really well. He had an off season last year, but he's one of these guys we talk about all the time on the show where once he gets hot, he stays hot. He won this tournament. He won the Hawaiian Open. So it tells me, Diane, that you know how big I am on biorhythms. People play the same good golf at the certain time of the year, et cetera, et cetera. Patton Kizzire 275-1 at Mayakoba. I mean, are you kidding me? So he's won this tournament before. He knows everything about it. Probably I've said this on the show a million times, putts as good as Ben Crenshaw. And I just looked at it and couldn't believe my luck when I saw that 275, Diane.
I just looked Patton up. Do you know his real name is not Patton, it's Maxi.
Maxi?
Yeah, Maxi Patton Kazire. We've known him for years and we did not know that.
I might start calling him that.
Yeah, it's his dad's name too, so Maxi Jr. Yeah, and Patton's not only won here, he's finished well at this tournament before too. And he won in Hawaii, so loves this kind of course. And, you know, Patton, we've talked about this and the biorhythm thing, the fact that his game just goes up and down, like a lot. He's either completely off the planet, nowhere to be seen, or he's dialed in and you see him making putts from all over the place. So hopefully this is the start of that kind of season for Patton.
I have to pick him when I know his biorhythms have been good before. Biorhythms don't change, do they?
I know. No, you're right.
And of course, next week's the Houston Open. I won't be with you, and neither will you. We're taking a little break from our trip. You've got an important thing on your calendar, and I'm headed back to Australia to see my folks and play some golf courses that I haven't seen before. I'm going to be visiting down in Tasmania to Barndougal and Lost Farm. I'll be at Royal Melbourne and Kingston Heath, Metropolitan. Then at the end, I'll be up in Sydney to my neck of the woods to New South Wales and the Australian Golf Club. So I'll have all kinds of stories of good golf when I come back, I hope. You're
going to be traveling around Australia, other side of the world, having a great time, walking all these places. I'm going to be laying on my couch waiting for this baby to pop out. So you and I keep joking about it because I'm going to tell you as soon as it's happening, but who knows when it's going to be. It could be daytime with you. It could be middle of the night. We've got the time difference. It's going to be, yeah, by the time you and I are back doing the show together, there'll be another little addition to the team.
I love it.
Oh, I know.
A big addition, it sounds like.
Yeah, I know. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, great. Thank you very much for watching the show and for following along. We'll still do some stuff on, we'll be around to do some stuff on social, and our games will be open for the Houston Open and for the RSM Classic. And then we have the Hero, and that's the year pretty much done before Hawaii kicks off in January. We'll be back with the show then, and good luck with your picks this week.